Hello, College of the Desert students. Welcome to our well-rounded flow today. As always, I have my props nearby, a couple blocks, a little blanket or a pillow, a yoga strap, even a wall nearby. I just want to welcome you to our flow. As always, anytime you need to modify something, take a wide-legged child's pose. Just do you, meet yourself where you are. Today we are on our four corners of our mat, and it is really a kind of a sanctuary for our theme today, which is a calm mind and a confident heart. I was really worried about someone a few weeks ago. And this person really, it was a student that really had prepared for a rigorous exam. And the motto that we kind of could come up with was calm mind and confident heart. And I just want to share that with you. Yoga is a gift, a beautiful connection, a connection of the movement, the breath, the postures, sometimes out in nature, a connection within ourselves. And sometimes this can give us, it's a tool for cultivating calm mind and confident heart. So I just want to share that with you guys. I know a definition that I read about prayer, okay, or we can even reflect this to intention, is that ability to raise one's heart and mind to the Creator, to the universe. So that is an example of the connection of the heart and the mind, right? Sometimes people go on these pilgrimages, these long journeys to connect to this calm mind and confident heart, right? But it's really 18 inches from the mind to the heart, and yoga is a powerful, powerful tool to connect to that. I just want to share that with you guys. So here we are connecting to this practice, and it's wonderful to have you guys here, okay? We're going to get started at the edge of our mat here. Let's awaken Pada Bandha in the feet, awaken those arches, those intrinsic foot muscles, and lightly press into the pinky, the fourth, the third, the second, the first big toe. Good. Let's start off with 2 cleansing breaths. We're going to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And when we do that, let's think about inhale calmness, inhale calm, exhale confidence. All right? Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale confidence. Beautiful. 2 partial sun A's. And for some of you guys, if you want to set your blocks nearby, if you're a little bit tight, you can set them nearby, okay, as a prop here. I'm going to grab mine out just to have them. But if you're a little bit tight, sometimes people will set them right about here and use the blocks that are a little bit higher. Pada Bandha in those feet. Inhale, gather that beautiful energy up. Draw length in the spine. If we can straighten the arms, we can draw those palms together. Draw the belly towards the spine and gaze up. Calm mind, confident heart. Exhale, we're going to gently bend those knees. We're going to swan dive down. We'll do a little heel and toe, heel and toe. Good. Lubricating those joints. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Tailbone is lifted, the crown of the head is coming forward. Torso's parallel to the ground. Exhale, we're going to fold a little bit deeper into this forward fold. Try to stack those hips over the knees and the ankles. Gently bend those knees, swan dive up. Upward salute. Belly towards the spine, lift the lower ribs away from the pelvis. Exhale, hands heart center. Remember in Tadasana, sometimes people keep their feet hip width apart, sometimes feet together. I like to keep my feet together, a little space between the heels, but that's different for each person. Tadasana, mountain, calm mind, confident heart. Inhale, draw that energy up. Partial sun A again, sun salutation. Exhale, gently bend those knees, swan dive down. We'll do a little heel and toe, good. Dynamic exploration. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Tailbone is lifted, crown of the head is coming forward. Exhale, fold forward, a little spinal flexion into Uttanasana. Try to stack those hips over the knees and the ankles, come a little more to the midfoot. Gently bend those knees, swan dive up, upward salute. Exhale, hands, heart center. Beautiful. I'm going to gently, we're going to keep you, if you want to keep the blocks near you as props, please do, but I'm going to move them away just a bit for my lateral flexion of the spine. So it's so good to move the spine in unique ways and prepare to warm up, and yoga does a beautiful job with that. Tadasana. I'm going to step that right foot over. I'm clasping my right wrist, exaggerating my right hip to the side here. Opening my right side body, and let's take the gaze towards that top arm. And the breath is we're going to inhale and exhale through the nose, calming the mind. Inhale and rise, come back center. I'm going to step that left foot over, exaggerate, clasping that left wrist, exaggerate that left hip to the side, gazing up at that top arm. Moving the body laterally, opening that left side body. Inhale and rise. Come back center. Hands, heart center. The student that was really struggling with anxiety, I actually texted them these affirmations. And again, it's about kind of sending the mind and the heart and sending it to the universe. You're kind of doing everything that you can to prepare for challenges in life, right? But in the end, these are some affirmations that I sent to the student are the following. And let's say them together. I am stronger than I know. I am stronger than I know. I choose to think positively. I choose to think positively. I have done tough things before and got through them, and I will again. I have done tough things before and got through them, and I will again. Let's take a moment, hands, heart centered, lower our head to our fingertips, and connect to the message, calm mind and confident heart. Perhaps direct your energy of your breaths, your efforts, and your intention to someone who might be struggling with something today. And continue to take calm mind, confident heart into your day today when you step off the four corners of your mat. Gently look up. We're going to continue to warm up with a classical sun salutations, Pada Bandha. Awaken those arches, gather that good energy. Inhale, draw the energy up those fingertips. On the exhale, we're gently bending those knees into a forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, either hands to the ground, the shins, or the thighs. Tailbone is lifting, crown of the head is coming forward, the gaze is forward and down. On the exhale, we're framing the feet, Elvis is back here. I'm stepping that right leg back, lowering the right knee to the ground, and we're going to do a few dynamics here. Few dynamics preparing for Anjaneyasana, low lunge. We're going to add some shoulders to this. Eagle arms, Garudasana. Right arm comes under the left arm. If you have a hard time, if you can tap the shoulders, that's okay. But we're trying to take the palms together. Thumbs to the hairline. Tilt those elbows up. Inhale. On the exhale, we're coming forward. Palms together. Shoulder blades move away from the spine. A little bit of rounding, a release of the upper and the middle back. We'll find our breath. Inhale, exhale through the nose and feel that release of the back right hip. Gently release, hands to the hips. Frame the foot, runner's pose. Back leg straight and engaged. Framing the feet, we're going to step back into Phalakasana plank. Hands under the shoulders. Good. Heels over the balls of the feet, back legs, the legs are straight and engaged. Draw the belly towards the spine, lightly dome the upper back, and let's draw the eyes of the elbows forward. We'll stay here several breaths, breathing on core stability. Gently lower to the knees. Ashtanga Pranama, I like to kind of lead with my knees, now my chest and chin, as I'm humbly surrendering my worries. Calm mind, confident heart. The tailbone is lifting, the elbows close to the sides, sitting bones towards the sky. Gently send those legs back, easy cobra. Feet hip width apart, hands by the center of the ribs, rolling those shoulders back. Feel the inner ankles, the inner elbows coming towards one another. As we press to the tops of the feet, I like just to kind of awaken my lower back, preparing for my practice. Exhale, come to all fours. Find your way. I like to just draw my palms up a bit for downward facing dog, Adho Mukha. Downward facing dog. Hands shoulder width apart, feet hip width apart. I'm pressing the floor away, drawing length into my spine. My tailbone is lifted and I'm trying to kind of firm those thighs. Also pressing those thighs kind of back and up. Connecting with the breath on the exhale, the heels coming a little closer towards the ground. Anjaneyasana on the right side, drawing my right knee to the chest and the nose as I round that upper back. Place the right foot next to the right hand, hands to those hips. Rocking forward and back, a little dynamic exploration. Garudasana, the left arm comes under the right arm, trying to get the palms together. Inhale, I'm tilting those, tilting the elbows up, thumbs to the hairline, and on the exhale, sinking lower, drawing the palms forward. Shoulder blades move away from the spine, and I'm also releasing the back hip, staying here several breaths. Calm mind, confident heart. Hands to those hips. Frame the foot. Back leg is straight and engaged. Step the back foot to meet to the front foot. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, deep forward fold. We'll stay here several breaths. I am stronger than I think. I choose to think positively. I have done tough things before and got through them, and I will again. Gently bend those knees, swan dive up, upward salute. Calm mind, confident heart. Exhale, hands, heart centered. Let's do a cleansing breath together. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale, gather that beautiful energy up, upward salute. Gaze up and look up. Confidence. Exhale, gently bend those knees. We're going to swan dive down. Inhale, come into this halfway lift. Either hands to the ground, the shins or the thighs. Tailbone is lifting. The crown of the head is coming forward. Little spinal extension here. On the exhale, we're framing the feet. I'm going to step the left leg back for low lunge this time. Lowering the left knee to the ground. The top of the foot comes towards the ground. Good. Inhale, I'm drawing that beautiful energy up. Exhale, cactus arms, bending those elbows, tilting those elbows up. With the inhalation here, I'm opening my chest. I'm opening my heart. Confident heart. Stay here several breaths. Gently release, hands to the hips. Runner's pose. Back leg straight and engaged, firm that right hip. Press into the ground, step that right foot back. Here we are, Phalakasana plank. Heels over the balls of the feet, shoulders over the wrists, belly towards the spine, lightly dome that upper back. Come into the finger pads. Core stability. Gently lower to the knees. Explore knees, chest, and chin. Keep those elbows close to the sides. Tailbone is lifted. Humbly surrendering. Surrendering your worries. Calm mind, confident heart. Sitting bones towards the sky. Good. Easy cobra. Send those legs back. Feet hip width apart. Press through the palms close to the sides here. Knees off the ground. Awaken the lower back. Roll the shoulders back. Stay here several breaths. Warming up, still preparing for our practice. On the exhale, love those birds singing. Let's find our way into downward facing dog. Push into those palms. Firm those thighs. Try to get the heels a little closer to the ground. And let's adjust our gaze. Gaze at maybe the toes, the legs. Heels align with the pinky toes. Feel those inner thighs spiraling back. Anjaneyasana on the left side. Draw the left knee, the chest, and the nose. Core agility. Place the left foot next to the left hand. Come into the top of the back foot. Inhale, draw those arms up, low lunge. Exhale, cactus arms. Bend those arms. Tilt those elbows up. They're like goalposts here. With the inhale, open the chest here. Confident heart. Gently release, hands to those hips. Frame the foot. Back leg straight and engage. Big step with that right foot to meet the left foot. Inhale, halfway lift. Either hands to the ground, the shins or the thighs. Tailbone is lifting. Crown of the head is coming forward. Gaze forward and down. On the exhale, let's fold a little bit deeper into this forward fold. Let's allow the neck to be a little long here. Maybe take a yes and a no. Wrist therapy. Let's take the tops of the hands and press them to the ground so fingers are coming towards us. And we're just going to shift back and forth. We're warming up these wrists for our practice. Maybe when we shift the right hip to the side, we inhale, and the left hip, we kind of exhale as we kind of rock those hips side to side. Good. Fingers come towards us now. So adjust those hands, fingers come towards us, and shift side to side. Good. And now adjust the fingers, move away. It's always good to do wrist therapy here. We use those wrists in our chaturangas and our arm balances and our down dogs. And gently release. Let's kind of roll up here to come out of this pose. So we're going to roll up kind of one vertebrae at a time, finding our way into Tadasana. Let's add a Tadasana with a twist here. The right hand catches the left hip. The left hand catches the right hip. Both hips facing forward. And the twist, we want to gaze over the left shoulder, gently lowering the chin just slightly. Continue to gaze over that left shoulder. Calm mind, confident heart. Gently release. Let's catch the left hand to the right hip, right hand to the left hip. Both hips facing forward. Kind of relax that right shoulder a bit. Let's follow the gaze and lower the chin just slightly to create length in the neck there, cervical vertebrae, as we gaze over the right shoulder. Try to keep both hips facing forward. With the exhales, kind of deepen that twist. Gently release. A pose that represents calm mind and confident heart. Let's do this together. This is a form of malasana. I call this a tippy toe malasana. So we're going to try to keep the feet together on this one. Hands by the sides. Inhale, draw that beautiful energy up. Gaze up and look up. On the exhale, we're going to gently bend those knees. Swan dive down. Hands under the shoulders. We're going to releve up on the balls of the feet. So we're lifting up those heels. We're going to try to keep ankles, knees, and shins together. On the exhale, we're gently lowering. I actually want you to kind of squeeze those heels together and keep the heels from splaying. Ankles, knees, and shins together. Kind of squeeze those inner thighs towards one another. If you notice, we have a little rounding of our back here. Draw the forehead to the knees, chin to the chest, and just reflect. If you want to deepen this pose, walk those hands back in line with the heels. Forehead to the knees, chin to the chest. Try to squeeze those heels together. Calm mind, confident heart. We'll stay here several breaths. Gently come out of this pose. We're going to lower those heels. Good. We're going to challenge ourselves. We're going to test our limits a little bit with this core strength, okay? We'll have blocks. If you have blocks on either side, if you don't have blocks, that makes it a little harder. I think the blocks are going to make it easier for some of this work that we're doing. So here we are. We're going to balance on the back of the sitting bones, Navasana. Beginners can modify legs bent if you can. Straighten those legs, straighten those arms like you're holding a beach ball. Really strengthening those hip flexors. Find your breath. We'll stay here several breaths. Gently come out of this pose like an easy Sukhasana. We're crossing at the ankles here. We're going to press into the blocks or the grounds, and we're going to try to lift those hips off the ground. This is challenging. Press down. Exhale, lift up. Lift those hips off the ground. Nice. Gently lowering. Here we are, Navasana again. We're going to challenge ourselves. Try to straighten those legs like we're holding the beach ball. Energy out the fingertips. Energy out the toes. Strengthening those hip flexors. We'll stay here several breaths. Gently cross here. Let's put the right over the left here. On the exhale, press down. Lift those hips. Good. Navasana. Again, straighten those legs. Good. Core strength. Cross the left over the right now. Press down and lift up. Lift those hips off the ground. Good. And again, Navasana. Try to straighten those legs. Stay here several breaths. We're challenging, guys. We're challenging. Cross the feet. Let's do left ankle on top of the right again. Press down and lift up. And see if we can shimmy those legs underneath us. Lolasana. We're preparing for Lolasana. Lolasana prep. This is a big upper body strengthener and the core at the same time. So the tops of the feet are in plantar flexion. The hands come under our shoulders. It's like we're going to come forward. We're going to draw the knees to the chest and come into like a little ball. So this is about like how to use your core and your upper body strength together. This will help us in other arm balances if you ever want to really continue to learn in yoga. On the exhale, we're pressing down. We're drawing the knees to the chest and drawing kind of the forehead to the knees. Good. Gently lower again. Press. On the exhale, press down. Come into like a little ball, knees to the chest. We're going to keep doing this. You can feel the shoulder blades move away from the spine. Good. Come up into a little ball. We're challenging the limits of our strength here. Good. Keep going. 5 more. Press. Feel the shoulder blades move away. Knees to the chest. Knees to the chest. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Good. Another reason why we do that pose, it's the in the magazine Yoga Journal, that was the most underrated core exercise, and we just practice that. Let's adjust those blocks here. Heel of the hands on the blocks. We're continuing to warm up. We're going to find our way into downward facing dog. Beautiful. Let's take the heel of the hands on the blocks. We're firming those thighs, downward dog. Head in line with those arms. Find the breath. Trying on the exhale, heels closer to the ground. Warrior 1, we're drawing the left knee to the chest and the nose. Place the left foot next to the left hand. Adjust that back foot about 45 degrees. You almost feel like the toes are kind of matching the right front corner of the mat. So heel in and the toes out. Good. Rooting in the ground with both feet here. Warrior 1. Trying to get the hips facing forward. Press outer edge of the back foot. Let's keep that front knee over the ankle. Good. Ground down on the inhale. We're going to draw those arms up and also that front leg parallel to the ground. If the shoulders are tight, we can keep the arms about shoulder width apart. If we can straighten those arms, we can draw those palms together. Maybe gaze up at the fingers. With the inhale, we create length. On the exhale, I want you to sink those hips lower. Front hip back, back hip forward. Foundational standing posture, Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. Humble warrior. Release those hands, interlace those hands behind you, palms together. Shoulder blades come towards one another, broaden the collarbones. On the exhale, fold forward. Shoulder inside the knee, a little core awakening here. Arms towards the sky, humbly surrendering. Calm mind, confident heart. Inhale and rise. Warrior one, strength again. Ground down, good. Front leg parallel to the ground. Feel the inner thigh spiraling back. Gaze up. On the exhale, hands to the hips, frame the foot. Here we are in a plank. Either chaturanga or partial chaturanga. You can lower to your knees to make it easier. Bend those elbows, draw the sternum and chest forward. Look at my shoulders are in line with my elbows. Elbows close to the sides. Inhale, upward facing dog. Press to the tops of the feet, hip width apart. Knees, hips off of the ground. Draw the pelvis forward. Draw length, broaden the collarbones, gaze up. Exhale, come over the tops of the feet. Downward dog. Building strength, warrior one on the right side. Draw the right knee to the chest and the nose. Place the right foot next to the right hand. Angle that left foot. It's like a heel to heel, or you can make it a little wider if you want, right? The toes are almost kind of facing the front corner there. Heel in, toes out, good. Ground through both feet. Right knee over that right ankle. Think about the front hip coming back, the back hip coming forward. Inhale, draw those arms up. Continue to press outer edge of the back foot. Feel the inner thigh spiraling back of the back leg. Draw the belly towards the spine for lumbar support there. Gaze up. Building strength. Sink those hips a little bit lower. Even feel that front shin kind of coming forward as we deepen this Virabhadrasana 1. Humble warrior. Release those arms, interlace those fingers. Palms come towards one another, broaden the collarbones. On the exhale, sink forward, elbow and shoulder inside the knee. Good. Arms towards the sky. Surrendering. A little core awakening just to kind of help us find that balance. Shoulder inside the knee. Inhale and rise. Rooting with both feet. Good. Warrior one. Follow that gaze towards the fingers. Exhale, hands to the hips. Step back into that plank. Either partial chaturanga or bend those elbows, draw that sternum and chest forward. Legs are engaged, shoulders engaged, chest engaged. Upward dog, press through the tops of the feet. Feet hip width apart. Broaden the collarbones. Gaze up. Allow the pelvis to kind of weigh you down as we draw length in the spine and find this little arm balance and back bend. Exhale, come over the tops of the feet. Downward facing dog. Head in line with the arms, firming those thighs. Stay here several breaths. On the inhale, gaze between those hands. And maybe lead with the foot that we don't want to lead with as we walk the feet forward. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Tailbone is lifting, crown of the head is coming forward, torso parallel to the ground. On the exhale, find your way, find the breath, deep forward fold. Gently bend those knees. Swan dive up. Calm mind, confident heart. Exhale, hands, heart centered. Bakasana, crow pose. It's about the journey, guys. And even if we're not quite there yet, let's just have fun with the journey. So I'm bringing a block up there, which I might move, but the block can come under that third eye, that intuition, if you want a little bit of support. Okay, here we are. Let's have the feet together here. Inhale, gather that energy up. On the exhale, gently lower, bend those knees, gently lower those hands under the shoulders. Good. So I releve up on my balls of my feet here, and I'm bending the knees, widening the knees. Why? I'm going to kind of bend the arms a little bit here, and I'm placing the knees, I'm going to have to adjust that block. I'm placing the knees up high on the triceps, under the shoulders. Maybe 1 foot at a time as I engage my core to help lift those hips and find my way, keeping those elbows kind of from flaring out, heels towards the buttocks, finding that arm balance. Good. And let's practice that a couple times here. So I'm going to remove that block. My heels are lifted. I widen my knees. I place them up high in my triceps, under my shoulders. The gaze is forward and down here. Good. Shoulder blades are kind of moving away from the spine. It's a little rounding of the back here. Strengthening the scapular stabilizers. Finding balance, finding strength. Gently release. Calm mind, confident heart. Come into the forward fold. Gently bend those knees, swan dive up. Exhale, hands heart centered. Just do a little wrist therapy between this. I'm going to take that right arm, extend it from the shoulder. Draw those fingers towards me, dorsiflexion of the hands. Just a little wrist relief. Stay here several breaths. Gently release. Extend that left arm from the shoulder. Draw those fingers towards me. Good. Good job, guys. A little wrist therapy. A lot of the students, you guys really love practicing that crow, so I wanted to throw that in there. Let's take those arms out in front, make a fist. Circle the hands a little bit. Circle them the other direction. A little wrist therapy, maybe a little finger flicks here. There we go, little finger flicks. Do about 10 more. Good, dexterity in those fingers and strong wrists. We're going to come to the center of the mat. Perhaps we're going to use a block to help us dive in deeper into our extended angles today from Warrior 2. So the props are there to sometimes help us refine and come into a pose a little bit deeper. Here we are in Tadasana. Let's take the hands by the chest and the elbows up. Let's add just a little hop here to invigorate us and prepare us for this deeper poses that we're going to go into. So here we are, Prasarita, our 5-point star. Rotate those big toes in. Press outer edges of the feet. Always comes from our foundation. Good. Arms are stretched. Let's take those arms, elbows come towards one another. Broaden the collarbones, belly towards the spine. Inhale, create length. Exhale, we're folding forward, releasing those hamstrings, preparing for deeper standing postures. Let's place those hands under the shoulders, the belly towards the spine here. Good. Releasing those hamstrings. If we want to dive in deeper and challenge the limits of the hamstrings, Let's take the yogi grip. We call it the thumb and index finger. Let's clasp the big toes and imagine drawing the head between the legs as we come more to the midfoot. Stay here several breaths. Good. Gently release. Place those hands under the shoulders again, that concave back here. Belly towards the spine. Hands to the hips, back flat. Inhale, root and rise. Let's adjust this as I mirror you now. I'm going to mirror you here. So you're going to take that left foot, point it straight ahead, heel in line, front heel lines with the back heel or the back arch. Left knee directly over that left ankle. Good. Arms are extended from the shoulder, palms down. It's almost like you feel someone grabbing the hands here. Warrior two. Left knee towards that pinky toe. Draw that left hip under so it's not splaying out. Front leg parallel to the ground. Press outer edge of the back foot and you feel that left hip opening, but you also feel that right hip kind of moving away. The hips are actually abducting and moving away from one another. We're going to stay here several breaths. Strength, calm mind, confident heart. Utthita Parsvakonasana, extended angle. Drawing the elbow, have a little bit of room between the torso and thigh, elbow and shoulder inside the knee. We might just keep 6 o'clock arms. Try to get the heart towards the sky. To deepen the pose, we can use the block inside the foot or draw the arm over the head here. Continue to sink those hips lower. Try to draw the heart towards the sky. Bottom ribs forward and under, top ribs back. Bicep towards the ear, pinky towards the face. Stay here several breaths. Inhale and rise, Virabhadrasana 2. Front leg parallel to the ground, building strength. Adjusting that left foot, little body awareness there. Warrior two on the right side as I mirror you here. Right knee over the ankle, and we try to do a heel to heel or heel to arch. Good. Right knee comes towards that pinky toe. Feel that right hip opening. Try to have the torso, guys, over the hip so we're not kind of leaning forward too much. Front leg parallel towards the ground. Press outer edge of that back foot. Strength. Calm mind, confident heart. This pose says it all. Utthita Parsvakonasana. Shoulder inside of the right knee. Have a little bit of room between the torso and the thigh. We can keep these 6 o'clock arms as we expand torso rotation, or come a little bit lower as we grow the pose. Arm over the head. Sink those hips lower. Grow the pose from the back foot, through the hips, through the crown of the head, and the fingertips. Think about top ribs back, bottom ribs forward. Inhale and rise, warrior two. Gaze over the right hand. Adjust that right foot. Prasarita stance. Five-point star, good. Hands to those hips, heel toe it in. Cleansing breath together, guys. Inhale, calm. Exhale, confidence. Inhale. Exhale. I am stronger than I think. I choose to think positively. I have done tough things before and got through them, and I will again. Beautiful, guys. We're going to continue this well-rounded flow here. We've got blocks now on either side. If that's going to help us, we're countering now that extended angle pose. We're going to revolve our torso in a revolved crescent moon. Here we are, Pada Bandha in those feet, Tadasana. Even just Tadasana, rolling those shoulders back, broadening those collarbones, mountain pose, confidence. Inhale, draw that energy up, upward salute. Exhale, gently bend those knees, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Building upon some strength here, framing the feet, we're going to step back into Phalakasana plank. If we're tired, we can stay here. We can do a modified chaturanga, lowering to the knees, or we can come into chaturanga, elbows close to the sides, sternum and chest forward. Try to keep the tips of the shoulders from lowering. Inhale, upward facing dog. Knees and thighs off of the mat, roll those shoulders back. Exhale, come over the tops of the feet, downward facing dog. Connect to that breath, connect to oneself. Let the prana, the energy, calm the mind, build upon confidence in the heart. Runner's pose, draw the left knee, the chest, and the nose. Back leg is straight and lifted. Kind of ground through those back toes. Come into high crescent lunge here. Hands to those hips. Good. Draw those arms up. Once we can straighten the arms, we can keep, if the shoulders are tight, we can keep them shoulder width apart, but we can draw those palms together and deepen. Good. We're going to add a little twist here. Left hand on the hip. I want you to come to the pinky toe side of that right foot. Good. Draw the belly towards the spine. So the right leg is kind of internally rotating. Inhale, draw length. On the exhale, draw the elbow and shoulder across the knee. If we need to modify, we can lower the knee to the ground, okay? But we want to keep that back leg straight and engaged. Here's phase one. We're doing like a yoga buffet. Many of us might keep the knee down. We're in this prayer twist. We are revolving the torso. The next variation, we either can draw the block outside the foot, or maybe we don't need that block. Continue to draw the arm over the head, revolving the torso. Top ribs back, bottom ribs forward, taking that gaze up. Come to that pinky toe side of the back foot. Stay here several breaths. Left hand on the hip. We're coming back to crescent moon here. Back leg is straight and engaged. Try to straighten, draw that quadricep to the bone. Front knee over the ankle. Hands to the hips. Frame the foot. Woo! That's a challenge on one. Plank, partial chaturanga or chaturanga. Chest, shoulders, legs engaged. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll stay here several breaths. Many gifts yoga gives us, and that's body awareness, connection, trying, growing, learning postures. In this pose, revolved crescent moon teaches us that. Runner's pose on the right side. Draw the right knee to the chest and the nose. Place the right foot next to the right hand. Come onto the ball of the back foot, back leg straight and engaged. Crescent moon. Hands to those hips. Draw those arms up. Try to come to the pinky toe side of the back foot just a bit. Right hand on the hip. Draw that left arm up. Belly towards the spine. On the exhale, trying to get the elbow and shoulder across the right knee. Come into a prayer twist, palms together. You can modify by lowering the knee to the ground or continue just to stay here in this prayer twist. The next area of this yoga buffet is to continue to draw the elbow and shoulder across the knee, arm over the head, come to the pinky toe side of the back foot. Rotate that torso, come into the top ribs back, bottom ribs forward, revolve that torso. Stay here several breaths. Right hand on the hip. Let's transition back to standing crescent moon, building strength. Hand to the hips. Frame the foot. We've got Chaturanga, Dandasana. Here we are into plank. Bending those elbows, sternum and chest forward. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, come over the tops of the feet here. Trying to get the heels a little closer towards the ground. Lizard pose. Draw the left knee towards the left tricep. Left foot outside of the left hand. We're going to rock forward and back. Forward and back. Good. So we're opening up the hips, the hamstrings, the inner groins. Good. This is kind of an active stretch here. We're going to come into a passive now. We're going to lower the right knee towards the ground. Let's press into the top of the back foot too. Twisted lizard. I like to come onto my forearm, and my husband used a block and placed it under his forearm. And I'm coming into an ankle grip. My right hand to the left foot. I'm circling that left arm behind, building upon body awareness, where I'm going to clasp outer edge of that right foot, allowing the left knee to drop to open the outer hip, and then drawing the heel towards the buttocks. Good. We'll stay here several breaths. Gently release. Hands under the shoulders here. Come onto the ball of the back foot in the lizard. Listen, do a little core engagement now as we step that left foot back into downward dog. Cleansing breath here. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Lizard on the right side. Draw the right knee towards the right tricep. Place the right foot outside the right hand. Rock forward and back. Forward and back. Good. Little active hold here. Lowering the left knee towards the ground. Press to the top of that left foot. We're going to come into a little lizard with a twisted lizard here. So I'm taking the left forearm, the elbows onto the ground, and I'm clasping the outer edge of the right foot, allowing the right knee to drop. I'm circling that right arm behind, clasping the outer edge of that right foot, drawing the heel towards the buttocks. Stay here several breaths. Gently release. Hands under the shoulders, back leg straight and engaged. Find your way back into downward facing dog. Walk the hands and the feet towards one another. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And let's roll it up one vertebrae at a time. Good. We opened up those hips, the hamstrings, and we're preparing you guys now for some back bends, tapping into that confident heart. Garudasana, eagle arms. Let's take, here we are in Tadasana, right? Let's take the right arm under the left. Thumbs to the hairline. Tilt those elbows up. On the exhale, draw those palms forward. Elbows align with the shoulders, but exaggerate the rounding of the back. Why are we doing eagle arms? This helps us dive in deeper for back bends. We're releasing the lats, the rhomboids, the chest, and just helping us prepare for our back bends. Continue to draw those palms forward. Feel the shoulder blades move away from the spine. Gently release. Left arm, Garudasana, comes under the right arm. Try to draw those palms together. Inhale, thumbs to the hairline. Tilt those elbows up. On the exhale, draw those palms forward, but draw the elbows are in line with the shoulders, and feel the shoulder blades move away from the spine. A little bit of a rounding of the back. We'll stay here several breaths. Gently release. We are prepared. We opened up those hips. We release the shoulders and the upper back. Anavitasana, the standing back bend. So now the feet are mat width apart. Let's rotate those big toes in. This is a powerful pose. We're going to compress the spine and yet open the heart. This is energizing. We're going to take those palms, press them down, the fingers pressing kind of down, right? We're pressing that tailbone down. We want to get out of the lumbar vertebrae. We want to come into the back bend in the upper and the middle back. So press that tailbone down, fingers pointing downward. Broaden the collarbones, kind of elbows towards one another a bit. Inhale, gaze up. With the exhale, lead with the upper and the middle back. We'll stay here several breaths, opening the chest, opening the heart. Gently rise, neck and head last. Good. You're going to meet yourself where you are, but you can even walk those hands back a little bit deeper for some of us. We might just stay where we are. Hands by the tailbone, press them down. That also symbolizes the hips pressing forward. Elbows kind of come towards one another, broaden the collarbones. Inhale, gaze up. With the support, gently lower the head, but with the support of the neck as we lead with the upper and the middle back. To deepen this pose, I can walk my hands back to the hamstrings and even my calves, opening the chest, opening the heart. Gently come back up, neck and head last. Touching on the power of the heart, we're going to do this one more time. I like to make a little heart sign by my heart. Calm mind, confident heart. Yoga is a beautiful tool for that. Press that tailbone down. Broaden the collarbones. Inhale, gaze up. On the exhale, gently lower the head with the support of the neck. I'm going to walk my hands back just a bit deeper. Expanding across the heart. Opening the chest, opening the heart. The hips are continuing to press forward. Staying here several breaths. Gently come back up, neck and head last. Hands making the heart, calm mind, confident heart. Neutralizing, finding my way back to Tadasana, mountain pose. The sound of the birds, the effort, the energy I've made. Moving into integration here. I'm going to neutralize the spine just a bit. I want to draw that tailbone under and make a little bit of a front hollow hold here. Good. So I'm neutralizing the spine. The tailbone really comes under. Making a front hollow hold here. We'll stay here several breaths. Hands to the heart. Good. Inhale, we're going to draw that energy up, upward salute. Draw length in the spine, belly towards the spine, gaze up and look up. Tailbone comes under slightly. On the exhale, I'm gently bending those knees, swan dive down into my forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. On the exhale, framing the feet, I'm stepping back into plank. One last plank to help neutralize the spine after those back bends. Belly towards the spine, heels over the balls of the feet, lightly dome that upper back. Stay here several breaths to neutralize the spine. Hips not too high nor too low, kind of draw that tailbone under just slightly. Gently lower to the knees. Let's take a wide-legged child's pose, big toes touching wide in the knees. Hands come forward, shoulder width apart here. Come forward, now send those hips back, trying to lower the chest and the forehead to the mat. We'll stay here several breaths. Calm mind, confident heart. Send those hips back, but create length in the spine. Gently come out of that pose to a tabletop. We're going to do a few seated postures here. Here we are in Dandasana. That ability to sit nice and tall. And if that's a challenge, we can sit on a blanket if we find ourselves slumping. Or we can sit, you can sit on a blanket under the sitting bones to help you create length and help shift that pelvis forward a bit. We can also sometimes use a smaller block, like this one, or even a little pillow. Here we are in Dandasana, seated staff pose. Danda, the staff of the spine here. Seated nice and tall, this helps neutralize the spine, outer edges of the feet come towards us. Roll those shoulders back. From Dandasana, we're going to add a little simple twist here. We're going to lean to the right here. We're going to draw that left foot outside of the hip in a plantar flexion. Draw that right heel kind of towards the pubis bone and that foot kind of under that upper thigh. Good. Brad Vajrasana, a little torso twist here. A little simple noose pose, a little torso twist. We're going to take the right hand like a kickstand and take that left hand. We're kind of clasping the right knee. And we're going to gaze. We're going to draw kind of a dynamic breath here. We're gazing over that right shoulder and kind of lowering that chin just slightly. Inhale, create length. And now exhale, gaze over that right shoulder. Inhale, draw length. Exhale, gaze over that right shoulder. Inhale, draw length. Gaze over that right shoulder. Keep that gaze. We'll stay here several breaths, gazing over the right shoulder, allowing the clasp of the left hand on the left knee and the fingertips behind us to help kind of deepen this twist. Gently release. Come back to Dandasana. Hands by the side. Lean to the left. Take that right foot outside of the right hip. Draw that left foot under. Left heel towards the midline. The midfoot under that right thigh. Left hand is like a kickstand. The right hand comes outside of the left knee. Inhale, draw length. Exhale, gaze over the left shoulder. Inhale, draw length. Exhale, gaze over the shoulder. Inhale, draw length. Exhale, gaze over the left shoulder. Continue to stay there several breaths. Good. Release. Come back to Dandasana. Legs are straight. Feet are together. Hands by the side. Roll those shoulders back. Paschimottanasana, or west stretching pose. If some of us have a difficult time with tight hamstrings, we can modify by placing the strap outside of the foot to help us come forward. Sometimes I like to take a block and keep the outer, to help me keep the outer edges of my feet coming back. Some students actually like to do a little bit of both so they feel the outer edges of the feet coming towards them. I always learn from my students. I can go a little bit deeper, so I'm going to take 2 blocks back there. But what am I doing? I'm rooting through the sitting bones. Outer edges of the feet come towards me, engaging the quadriceps to release those hamstrings. With the inhale, I'm drawing my arms up, unless I'm holding that yoga strap. On the exhale, coming forward, 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches farther. Trying not to allow the chest to collapse. I'm going to stay here several breaths. This is a warm-up. Inhale and rise. We're going to do one more. Hands heart-centered. Calm mind, confident heart. Inhale. Draw that energy up. Outer edges of the feet come towards us. Good. On the exhale, fold forward. 2 inches. 3 inches. 4, 5 inches farther. Try not to allow the chest to collapse. Try to fold forward and feel that release in the calves, the hamstrings, the lower back, the middle back. Good. And eventually we can sink a little bit deeper, maybe relaxing the head, but continue to feel the crown of the head come forward. Sternum and chest close to the shins. We'll stay here 10 breaths. Inhale and rise. Exhale, hands heart-centered. Power of the heart. Good. Calm mind, confident heart. Gently release. Preparing for our Shavasana. We're going to start with Apanasana, knees towards the chest. We're going to clasp a few inches below the knees. Draw the knees towards the chest, tailbone towards the ground. And we'll stay here several breaths. Drawing length in the back in a gentle way. One last stretch. Stretch the arms over the head, the legs out. It's almost like you can feel someone kind of pulling at the hands and pulling on the feet. Draw one last stretch. Good. As you nestle into your Shavasana, you're going to relax the feet, relax the hands. Kind of nestle the shoulder blades under. Prepare to let everything go. But believe and know in the power of the calm mind and the confident heart. There's tools in yoga, connection within oneself, breath and effort. Meditation, the sound of silence to cultivate that, and you're worthy of the calm mind and the confident heart. Let everything go and stay and enjoy your Shavasana. Stay here as long as you need. You deserve the breath. You deserve the rest.